Hey, what's going on everybody? Bladecifer here, and today I bring you guys another video of Black Clover Mobile. Inside this video, guys, we're going to be actually taking on the three-headed man here, in which I just call him the Hydra because I'm not going to lie to you, I can barely pronounce this thing's name, and I have not been able to pronounce it ever since JP. But this guy comes with a ton of nice little rewards and things like that that you can actually take on. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to actually take this guy out. Now, if you guys are interested in that, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. We're steady trucking. You guys seem to really enjoy that PvP video, so I do have another one coming out tomorrow for you all, and we're gonna still try to push the dang legend. God dang it! But yeah, we're gonna try and do our best for that. But let's go ahead and get into this. So first things first, before we go ahead and actually get into doing this boss here, I wanted to actually acknowledge the exchange shop. Some things that you guys should probably be focusing on here. First thing, I'm being honest with you. Don't miss this. Please don't miss this. I noticed that in the other video for the golem, a lot of you guys ended up missing that dupe out for at least your character. This is kind of in the same way. Do not miss this enhancement page if you possibly can. If you can do at least, I want to say difficulty 4, you should be able to exchange this guy pretty dang easily. And if you can get anything higher, of course, then you're pretty much set. Any of this can work out for you. But pretty much what we're going to end up be going for in this whole shop here, you want to go for that page. Of course, stamina is always something that you would like to get if you can get it daily, and you know you can beat more than that. Of course, you can still get your 500. That would be great to get daily, but other than that, I would suggest definitely go for the shards of will being the first thing, and then the second thing, go for the crystals of will instead of the 2-star ones, because I've noticed that the 2-star ones are a little bit easier to get more than at least the number 1 and number 3s. So go for number 1, then the 3s, then go for 2s. And if once you got all those things all bought out, if you do have more, of course, continue getting the stamina, and then focus probably on the foods as well, because that's actually kind of nice to get those. But all right, now that we've gotten the talking done with that, we're gonna be talking about this boss here. Now, I just got off of work, so I don't have my teams fully set up just yet, of course, but I will tell you the teams here because just doing this a bunch of times on JP as well. I think this is going to be not really too bad. The only thing I do have to say is you are going to need a couple things ready, and really ready, because this boss has a lot of things to do with either the first phase is kind of like a stalling out phase really, but you kind of just want to nuke it and get done with it. So you do have to do a couple things and hoops to actually get this done. So for a good team for you guys, if y'all are trying to at least figure out what you want to use here, you're going to need a really good tough DPS here. Now, this boss does cycle out different elements as well. If you guys can tell here, it will cycle out different elements here, in which changes the order quite often. So surely do know every time you smack this guy, he is going to change elements. So it doesn't matter which real DPSs that you use, but the DPSs that you're really going to want to go for is immediately going to be Raya, Asta, and or if you do have them, at least I know I have them recently, Red Yami. Now these three are really going to be the best heavy hitters that you can pretty much go with here. Of course, if who knows, if you can make Blue Yami work, then yeah, sure, go for it. But I will tell you, you're really gonna want those three because they deal the most damage out of all the heavy hitters currently, especially for the physical side of things here. So I'm gonna end up going with Raya because I ended up actually having him kind of built more than any of the rest of these guys. I mean, I guess Asta technically is built up more if I am talking about just what's it called, talking about dupes and things like that. But I'm gonna end up going with Raya here. Now, if you guys did know, you do need so far a defense downer for some debuffs as well, and this is going to be something that you're truly going to want to have here. Everyone should have this character, so most likely try to go for Charlotte here. Now, Charlotte is going to be a major help for you no matter what you're doing here, so be sure to actually have these guys kind of ready. Charlotte, for myself, I don't have really gear on her, but I am going to be transferring some gear to her. She's mainly going to be, of course, your debuffer. She's going to be a nice little debuffer here that we need to at least get down her, or get down the enemies reduced defense, because you do want to stack as many debuffs as possible on the enemy while also doing some other things here. Now, along with her, you're actually able to also stack on an incapacitation or incapacitate here on the boss, which allows you to deal increased damage here, which makes her really good for this. Seeing the first phase, you don't really want to sit too long on it and you kind of want to just get rid of it. Although it is kind of a stall fest, we're mainly still trying to clear this for the harder difficulties as well as for other difficulties on the lower spectrum as well. So having this character here really does prove this a little bit way more easier here when you can actually get it done. Now next, you would like to have yourself a speedster. So having a speedster in this is going to be very much so important. I would definitely advise, since we are using some attackers instead of magic attackers here, try to use Finral. Of course, you could very well use Voltos. I don't really recommend it because we don't really have any magic attackers, or at least on this end of the spectrum here, for this boss. So I do suggest using Finral here over at least Voltos. If you can, try to put at least a speed stone on them as well, because I do know a lot of us do have some at least speed stones at this point here. Doesn't matter if it's level 1, level 2, level 3. I know I have a couple level 3 speeds, so I'm probably going to put one on him for at least the video's sake here as well, and show you guys exactly what you want to go ahead and do. But pretty much, we're going to immediately have a speed stone on this man, get him all the way up for you guys, and actually have this all ready. Now lastly, since we are nuking, you're going to have a couple options for buffers. Now these buffers can either be, of course, out of all the buffers that are really good here, we're going to be mainly looking at Gauche being the one that you really want to have. Of course, you could very well use Sally, really good as well. And then lastly could be Kohano. Now, if you guys are wondering exactly why I chose these guys, is mainly because they all have an all attack buff. So if we go ahead and take a look at Kohano here, since we already have her in here, they all end up actually increasing all attack, at least with one of their ults or either skill 2s, and is what is the thing that you're really going to be paying attention for. But seeing the one with at least the most help for at least actually nuking pretty quickly, because he increases a lot of things regarding pin as well as giving you that increased sunlight, Ghost really does hold the spotlight here. So if you do have Ghost, he will be the best one that you want to use for this, of course, but you can very well use, of course, the other two recommendations here. Now, we didn't go for at least William here because it is more of a single target buff, which isn't really anything too bad here, but I'd rather tell you guys not to use this too much because the utility of William is a lot less when it comes down to using like Ghost or one of the other characters here. Now, if you are going to be using Ghost, I do advise you to at least place the Sally card on him, because then you're getting yourself even more buffs here with the at least increased all attack here, in which that's actually a very nice thing to do to at least give you those extra buffs that you will need for Raya. Now, going into our secondary team here that we're going to be using here is not these guys, because well, somewhat of these guys, but it's going to be more of our, okay, we need to immediately kill this whole just staying immediate as fast as possible, keep outspeeding the boss and live, because on the second phase is where things get a little bit extra problematic, I guess you can say. So luckily, as you can see, Mars is actually here. He is actually one of the people you do want to use here. And then with Mars, as always, you already know who's going to be with him, and that is going to be Lotus. Now, the main reasoning for this is also to have Mars to be mainly your wall here. You're going to be mainly just going ahead and using the skill 1 and 2. Main reasoning for this is just because when it does come down to what you need to do with Mars, is mainly just his combine attack here for at least the lovely taunt and reduced attack here. If you aren't using Mars, of course, with Lotus, you could very well use this skill too, but I would very much so advise using them with Lotus to have at least takedown and speed as well, while also being able to do those taunts and reduce as well. So Mars is going to be there. You're also going to want to use him mainly for his just basic attack taunt and that extra defense increase. It will help you out quite a lot. Now, Lotus, as I did say, you're mainly going to be using him as a speedster, kind of getting up to the plate immediately and spamming as much things as possible. Now, of course, you could very well use Lotus's card on him, which I actually am going to do that. I will actually put this back on a different character later, but we are going to use this on Lotus here because for his skill 2, it does help you out with at least extending that duration here, as well as reduce damage resistance here, and which is something that you guys really want to actually have on this character, especially when you're dealing with bosses. Now, any other time, I really don't use Lotus's skill page. I rather use real skill page because it does help out getting down the defense here. But seeing that we're going to be actually facing a boss here, it's a little bit better to go ahead and use his own skill page to knock down that nice damage resistance, as well as other things that we do need here. So having Lotus here is always going to be nice. You will be using his ult as well, so surely do keep that in mind. Now for one of the characters that I feel like a lot of you guys don't have built, and that is going to be Nebra. Now Nebra is absolutely amazing, and that's because she actually shines in a lot of places here. We're mainly using her for her debuffs that she actually does offer, and that's also only going to be just her skill 1 and then her combined attack here. So her skill 1 ends up actually going ahead and giving you that reduced magic attack, which is what you really want. And then her combined attack helps you with the incapacitation that you very well will need. Now, people are probably asking, but Blade, we have Lotus for this, and he already does incapacitation here. What's the deal? Well, here's the thing. When it does come down to Lotus, incapacitation is level 3 with 50% here instead of being a level 4, which is actually a decent bit of a percentage difference here. But let's say, of course, one of them does not have their incapacitation up, of course. One of them can use it. You can at least monopolize off of that. Then later on, if the other one does very well so needed, of course, you can then use their incapacitation, aka Nebra's incapacitation here, get that 60% and continuously deal damage. Now Nebra's is for 2 turns, while Lotus is actually for, if I'm right, 1 turn. If I'm right here, I may be wrong. No, it's also for 2 turns, but it's a little bit weaker. So you're mainly going to be using Lotus for just deep, like, buff removing, as well as reducing speed gauge for the most part, while Nebra will be that main pillar for just actually killing anything that you need destroyed here. So that's her little position, and at least in this entire team. You could, instead of using Nebra with a different team, you could possibly just go with a stall out team here and use Mimosa. I would not really recommend it. It does get the job done, but that's going to be a whole different talk that we'll have at that point in time. All right, so now that we went over that, let's go ahead and put in the piece of resistance, bro. We have our man Julius as usual here, being able to actually deal that big boy damage that we very well do need. And alongside of that, of course, we already know with his skill 2, he's actually able to reduce reduce a lot of mobility as well. With his time stop, he also can stop them from using skill 2s too, so this really does help out a lot. Alongside, he also increases his own speed, which is very much so needed, especially for this scene. You need to outspeed this guy in the harder dungeons, or at least the harder stage levels, and get this done. All right, so now that we explained this here, we're going to go ahead and talk about what you actually need these guys with. So with this whole team, of course, you immediately want to set them up in a certain way that you really want to complete this here. When it comes down to this, we're going to immediately use the skill 2, still buffs if we need it, and then ult to have that extra nice damage here. Charlotte's going to be using the skill 2 for at least the defense down immediately, and then the combined attack for at least the bonus incapacitation. Then we're immediately going to use the ultimate and the skill 2 for Fenrir, being at least the boost up in speed and then the boost up in at least damage dealt. And then lastly, we're going to use the ultimate for Ghosh, immediately giving us that nice extra accuracy and damage taken down here, because we will take some damage a little bit. And then of course using the skill 2 to get that increased sunlight for extra damage and possibly a pin. You can pretty much guarantee this if you actually upgrade it on him. So if you do have him upgraded for that pin, is absolutely amazing. All right, so now that we went over the first team here for their setup, we're immediately going to go over the secondary team here, in which the secondary team, we're going to go ahead and use the skill 2, then the ultimate as usual, take down that man's speed immediately, and then try to nuke. And then for at least Nebra, as I said, her only thing is going to be helping you out with pretty much knocking this guy out here. So skill 1, no need for skill 2 or anything. We just need the skill 1 and of course the combined attack. That's going to be your best friend, so surely do know this. So what you would end up having is this, and then use the combined attack there. Will help you out quite a lot. Then afterwards, we're going to immediately use at least Lotus here, making sure you're able to pop off that ultimate for the incapacitation as well, and then going ahead and using the skill 2 to get that damage resistance down. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and only use Mars's actually combined ultimate here, mainly to give you that extra edge. Now these are the 2 teams you're going to be wanting to use. There are other methods, of course, that you could possibly use. Like, I know Noelle is viable, same as Mimosa is viable, but it's a little bit iffy and it does take a lot longer. So these two teams are really going to help you out quite a lot. So surely do try to put these guys together. But I'm gonna click back in once we go ahead and get the right gear on for our characters, in which I will showcase those gears, and then let's go ahead and knock this guy out. Okay, so getting into the fighting here for the most part, as I did say, we are going to be showcasing the gear here for the most part. Ain't nothing too special here. We just got some attack gears on everybody, or at least on some of my people here. Not the best on at least our Lotus here. A little bit decent gear. This on at least Ghost just for speed here for the most part. Same as our at least Charlotte. And then for our regular folks, which is going to be Finral, for at least phase 2 is looking like this. Never somewhat like this. And then I think that is all of our people. You already know what our Julius and our Mars looks like here. But all right, let's go ahead and dive straight in here, see what we can get into. We already have everything set up for our teams here. And we're just gonna let the auto do what it needs to do and just kind of blitz through these guys. Now, as I did say, these are going to be the teams that you're going to also be using for 4, 5, and 6 here. So surely do make sure these guys are optimized for the most part. It will help you out quite a lot. But let's go ahead and do this here and try to nuke this as fast as possible for the most part here, which really shouldn't be too problematic for the most part. And there you go. Boom. See, first stage out of the way. This is easy anyways, because this is the literal first stage. As this is going on, it's just going to continuously stay kind of around this easy, but you really do want to have your DPSers as strong as possible. My Riot is kind of lackluster, so of course it is going to be a little bit iffy here. But let's go ahead and just kill these 3 little stages here. These are going to be really, really easy, so don't expect to see any real struggle when it does come down to this here. But I think for tomorrow, I'm going to showcase at least difficulty 4, 5, and 6 here, or at least try to get to 6 for you guys and showcase exactly how those really do work out as well. You can auto those; they're really easy. It's just going to take a little bit longer, though. I will say you need to hope you got that nice defense, but taking a little bit of a hit here. This is where kind of the speed is going to come in handy. Go ahead and get that incapacitation, and then from here it's just straight up nuke. So just bop, think, there you go, easy. 700k gone, poor man's dead. And yeah, we're just gonna immediately go on to the next phase. This is a team, I think with these teams here for the most part, you should not have any problems. I really will say the only thing that's probably going to be an issue for you guys is if you're too slow on speed. I'm not using the speed set on my Lotus, which I need to actually put on for him because that will be very much so helpful. But of course, if we don't have a speed set, you could use him the way I am, which is a sub DPS. So we're gonna do that for now at least. All right, so on to the last one here that we can do for the day, and then we'll do the at least 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow. This one should be just as easy as well. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. I always love this like boss's aesthetics though. I'm not gonna lie, the boss's aesthetics actually look kind of dope every time. But let's give him a little love tap here. You don't smack us up a little bit. Then I think we should have him in the right phase here. Give him a nice little smack, back in red, and then bonk, gone. All right, easy as that. The man's gone, and we can just continue moving on here. I really do feel like Raya's kind of the cheat code, to be honest. You could very well use red Yami and get the job done just as easy. But I really do feel like Raya's like a huge cheat code for this whole thing in general. So that may just be me, but who knows? I feel like it's actually really, really good, to be honest. So boom, gone, easy as that. And that was quickly wiped out. We're gonna do the same thing tomorrow, so look forward to that video as well. And if you guys haven't looked just yet, if you want your account looking pretty dang nice, kind of how mine is looking as well, we actually do give some gems or black crystals for cheap inside the Discord. So be sure to jump inside the Discord. There's actually a little bit of a section in my Discord that you can get some black crystals for cheap and make your account look really, really busted, especially if you are a spender, especially for cheap too. So till then, Everybody, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, which for hey, consider subscribing if you are new. I do daily Black Clover mobile videos. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. Peace.